All right, you all, welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Pivot Brunch series. Today is episode 2. We are joined by someone I consider a business bestie. I could go down the list. We met years ago, and it was one of those online connections, and we have been like locked in since then with our regular calls, checking in on each other. Like I consider her more than a friend. And I knew when I put this series together, she and I, of course, had conversations about it, that I wanted her to be part of the conversation because she has played such an instrumental role in my own pivot. So I'm going to zip it for a second and allow Mrs. Jazemine Davenport, to introduce herself to you all today.
Oh, thank you so much, and good morning or afternoon to everyone. Just so you know, I'm on the West Coast, so it's still morning. For some of you guys are on the East Coast, so it's probably afternoon. But first, I want to say thank you, Christina, for inviting me to be here. I will always say yes. Just know that it will always be a yes. Okay? Mask and all. But I appreciate, and I do have a sense of humor.
Yes.
But I'm excited to have this conversation because I think it's one that a lot of us women need right now. So just to give you guys intel into who I am, my name is Jasmine. On social and everywhere else, you'll know me as Coach Jasmine. And I work with high achieving women, especially moms, who are in essence suffering from burnout, but we talk about, and I work with you through nervous system regulation, identity shifts, and basically prioritizing yourself. And that's one of the things that's really, really important that often we forget about because we're women who carry and wear so many hats and cater to so many different things in our life. But it's important to have this conversation that Christina has put together, which is, how to prioritize yourself during the pivot. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Christina, because I'm sure you want to give some more intel into today's episode.
Yeah. This stemmed in large part from the conversations you and I have had. Um, the challenges, right? The way we talk so freely and openly and honestly about, I'm just going to say it because this is going to be an honest space today. And it's how along my own journey I have neglected myself, right? I've kind of put myself on the back burner and prioritized everyone else and everyone
Mhm.
else's needs. And Jasmine knows that lack of
Mhm.
it's not selfishness. It's the lack of focusing on Kristina, of
Mhm.
prioritizing Kristina, of pouring into Kristina, led Kristina to trying to pour from an empty cup, which
Mhm.
completely depletes you and sits you on your behind aggressively, sometimes. And so when we were talking about this series, I'm like, that is what women who are going through these shifts, these changes, these pivots.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that part of it. Um, Goodness, and I could keep going, but that's what it stems from. It stems from my own experience. It stems from me talking to my own coaching clients about their careers, and I'm listening to their stories, and I'm like, I'm pulling a Jasmine out, and I'm like, but what did you do for yourself this week?
Mhm.
What did you do for
Right.
yourself? And I'm like,
Mhm.
girl, I just told you I had 75 things. Like, when did I have time to do for myself? And then there's the guilt, and we'll keep going. We're
Mhm.
going to unpack all of it because I think it's a much needed conversation, especially in 2026,
Yes.
especially as I think about the 600,000 Black women who were forced out of the workforce and are pivoting
Mhm.
involuntarily, especially as I think about gestures broadly, America. Let's talk about prioritizing ourselves in the middle of the stuff. Um, and even if it's, I don't know, prioritizing, and correct me, Jasmine, and we'll get into this, but is it pouring? Is it prioritizing? Is it some combination of both? So that said, here's my first question to you. When you think about your journey, when you think about it professionally, when you think about it personally, what is it that comes to mind when I say the unscripted pivot?
What comes to mind for me is life, because life is about pivots, in my opinion, in my experience. You don't have control over what and how your life evolves. It's just evolution at its finest. And it may not be 100% at its finest. It might be kind of at its worst for some of us. And we've all had experiences with life and that evolution of it going through multitude of pivots. So for me, it's just evolution of who I am as a being and where I'm going in my life.
Yeah, multitudes. Whew, girl. Let's unpack it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you talk often about high achieving women. Um,
Hmm.
Many, if not all of us in this room, might consider ourselves high achieving women,
Hmm.
who hold everything together. We are the strong ones at home.
Hmm.
We are the caregivers, the
Hmm.
caretakers. We are the providers, managing the count, doing all the things, right? And not oftentimes realizing that it's costing us ourselves, if that makes sense, right? We are
Yeah.
losing ourselves in the midst of all of this. So, like, for someone who did hasn't had you in their ear along the way, because I've had the pleasure of having you along the way. What are the
Yes.
signs that someone is doing this, that someone is just pouring, 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 and not investing in replenishment? Um, it's this false sense of holding it together. It's this false sense
Hmm.
of taking care of home, when in reality, in my head, home needs to start here. But I learned that from you. So, like,
Right.
what are the signs that a woman is prioritizing others and not herself in the way that she should? Because I think it's easy to get lost in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure that I'm careful with this because it's going to look different for a lot of us. But if I'm being honest, a lot of us actually experience, if not the same exact signs. Some of them can be physical, mental. Mental is typically the first sign. You can't seem to, and I should say exhaustion, you can't seem to get a grip on things and you are automatically in autopilot. So a lot of us don't even notice that we're not prioritizing ourselves because we've already conditioned ourselves to be in servitude mode. And we sit and we serve everybody else from grade school on, and you don't even realize it because you start to observe other areas in your life when we talk about the matriarchs and the women in our life, and we conform to those patterns, those ways, those behaviors. So as we continue to grow, then we've adapted them and we don't notice that we're constantly doing those things. So when we enter into motherhood for a lot of us, um, we're serving, right? And so you're on autopilot. You don't notice that you're exhausted. And even if you do notice it, a lot of us have gotten that it's okay, I'll be fine. It's nothing. I just need to sleep. I just need some rest. So you kind of excuse it with, I'm just tired. I just need to go to bed. I haven't been getting enough rest without honestly understanding that you're forsaking what's going on within your body. You're not looking at the signs and the cues that are happening. Your body talks to you before you actually officially burn out. So paying attention to what your body is saying to you from your how your brain is functioning to how your physical is giving or not giving to how your eating habits have changed. I mean, it could be a multitude of things that you don't even realize. And even for me, I had a moment where I had looked at certain areas of my life and I was looking around at everybody else being happy and I was sitting there just like, as long as everybody else is happy, I'm fine.
Mm,
As long as everybody, my goal, my purpose was to ensure that in my mind at the moment was to make sure that everything else and everyone was fine, everything ran and it was good. And that for me was this is great, even though my body was like, it's not. I had a lot of issues. And I talked briefly about one, and I turn it to me because I don't want to speak for everyone. So I just want to be clear in my examples that I'm giving. But I've recently expressed and told my story on my page, and that I had got to a point where I was grinding my teeth at night, and I didn't even know it. And I would wake up wondering why my jaws would hurt and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that my body was so dysregulated that in my sleep, I was doing things that I didn't even know until I started having a physical ailment while awake. And I'm like, why is this happening? So a
Yeah.
lot of us experience things in our lives that help us, that our body gives us sign that we ignore because we're conditioned to continue to operate in go mode. We're in autopilot. We don't turn off. So I would say some of those things, and I hope that sounds a little familiar to some of you ladies out there. Those are some things that I've observed for myself, but also that I've heard from other women that I've worked with.
Man.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. So I know it's just not the two of us, right? I know I'm like I was gonna say I know it's not the two of us. So like when I think about how often we actually do this, how often we actually put the needs of others first, how often we say
hmm
as long as they're happy, because my mom has actually said that to me. As long as my kids are happy, I'm fine.
hmm
But she
hmm
wasn't fine. So like, I don't know if y'all can relate to this. Like, I want to see show of hands, drop something in the chat. Like, as long as my kids are fine, I'm fine. Yeah, y'all are relating. And I found myself saying that. So you think about what's been, and I love my mother, and I love my grandmother, and I love my great grandmother to pieces.
We
But
love them.
things that have been passed down to us, as long as
hmm
the kids are fine. My mom has said, and my mom has said to me, you know, Chris, your grandmother used to say, as long as the kids had food to eat, I don't need food to eat. And then I'm like, well, how is
hmm
grandma cooking the food if she hadn't eaten and nourished herself? It took me a minute to say, "Yeah, no, I feel like, and my mom tried to pass that down to me. I was like, nah, I think I'm okay.
Need somebody else to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm
Right.
eat. I'm
I'm eat
eat.
too.
Okay. I'm eat. And I see this is resonating with some of y'all. So yeah, again, it's been passed down. We
It
got it
has.
honestly, but we're
Yes.
recognizing it and we're having these conversations openly and talking about um, how you fix it so we don't end up. And I always talk about burnout a lot, but I think it's more than
hmm
just burnout. I just feel like with so many women I know experiencing health issues, it's
hmm
beyond burnout. You know, burnout to the point where you could just take a vacation and it's fine, right?
hmm
It's beyond that. So I don't know. When I think about pivot seasons and how
hmm
easy it is to abandon ourselves, how easy it is to end up completely depleted. What is it? What do you think it is about a transition that makes it okay or makes us think it's okay to put ourselves last? Because that's what we do oftentimes, especially like
hmm
you're like, well, I need to like change jobs or I need to, whatever it is, whatever the pivot is for you personally or professionally. It's like, as long as all that, is it just what's been passed down to us? Why is it so hard to shake it? Maybe that's the question because we've talked about this.
We
And
have.
I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds good, but in reality, it's not as easy to say, yeah, I'm just going to start putting myself first, you know?
Well, I think that, and let's be honest, and I'm gonna go back to a few things that you said,
Yeah.
but if we're being honest, a lot of us as high achieving women, we're so used to being everything for everyone that somewhere along the way, we stopped including ourselves in our own lives. And then what you notice is that when we're talking about the pivot, something starts to feel off. You kind of go through this period of an awakening, so to
Hmm.
speak. And again, the awakening typically happens when you have an adverse reaction to something, right? Something happened that's so pivotal in your life that you're just like, hold on.
Yeah.
But and it's not necessarily that something's wrong, but we just notice that something feels off. And that's typically when you're starting to notice that, where am I in this? Right? A lot of us go through and have moments of resentment, guilt, anger. Like when you start having your moment of awareness, because it starts with becoming more aware, when that starts happening, that that resentment or that anger is going to be almost the first thing that peaks for you, right? And I see that you said sometimes I feel guilty when I put myself first when awareness begins. That guilt
Mm,
will eat you up because, again, you've been conditioned to putting everyone first. You've been conditioned to the servitude role. So when you want to try to put yourself first, you do feel guilty because it's like, oh my gosh, this is out of my norm. This feels really out of body. This feels very selfish. And when we talk about our kids, they didn't ask to be here. I mean, we've been fed, and Christina, I know you've talked about this before in the first episode with Raina, but we've been fed so much about who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to behave, what we're supposed to do. We've been taught to forsake ourselves for the greater good of your family, that you don't get to put yourself first. You don't get to be selfish in that way. But if we're being honest, you've heard who was it who said that it's not selfish, it's selfless. I think it was Iyanla Vanzant who said that. It's selfless, or was it Oprah? One of them.
one of them.
But it is selfless for us to do that. So when you get to this point of a pivot, you have this out of body type of experience in my experience. It kind of comes across like that. And so for women who come to me, it's kind of like I'm ready for a change. I don't know what that change is. I just know I feel the urge to do something different. This no longer serves me. This life that I've built, this life that I've built, and I need us to be honest and take accountability for the fact that we built this life for us. And even though people have aided in creating our mindset around this world that
Mhm.
we've
Mm,
built it. So you go through various emotions when you're wanting to pivot and change it and really put yourself first because you've built this life that works for everybody else, but
mm,
you, right? So if I was to describe like a pivot, right? A pivot, and I know, Christina, we talked about, a pivot in our jobs, but right now we're talking about a pivot in our life.
mhm.
A job typically is something that you think of when we start talking about pivot because that's more of a corporate term,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes a pivot is really just changing your relationship with yourself. And a lot of us don't
Oh,
have
wait a minute.
relationships with ourselves.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Change. You about to do it.
I'm going to
See?
drink my coffee
The
because if the
pivot
shoe fits,
is lace it up.
oh,
Um,
don't come up on here. No.
the internal pivot,
Yeah.
changing your relationship with yourself. So,
Yes.
y'all, we didn't prepare for this. Just so you know, we didn't practice any of this. This is just how our conversations naturally flow. But I don't know if that resonated with anyone else.
Mhm,
Sometimes
mhm.
you think, yeah, I'm about to take on this external sort of pivot in my career or whatever it is.
Right.
And the pivot needs to start. Okay. Okay.
Take note.
I've been writing. I've been writing. You mentioned resentment. I wrote that down because that's something for a
Hmm.
minute, if I'm being honest, I struggle with because I built this life for others
Hmm.
at the expense of what made me happy. I didn't even pause to say, this is a lot. This
Hmm.
this is a lot. I didn't pause until my body made me pause
Hmm.
to say, Kristina, this is a lot. And it stops now, right? So, yeah, we talked about the guilt, the way that resonated. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a question. What does it actually look like? Because this was something that I struggled with, and I don't want others to be forced to sit down, be forced to, I don't know, maybe the discomfort will naturally be there, but what does it look like to start prioritizing yourself? So you start to recognize this
Hmm.
isn't working. I've
Hmm.
put everyone else first, right? The
Hmm.
job, the family, the career,
Hmm.
whatever it is.
Hmm.
During Raina session, we talked about the train, right? So, like,
Yeah.
everything is still in motion. The train is still
It's,
here. What does
hmm.
it look like to say, no, me first? Let me take care of me before I get on this train. You know what I mean?
Ah, what does that look like,
Yeah.
Christina? I will say
Oh,
this. I think that this is where a lot of us women get stuck
yes.
because a lot of us women think that prioritizing ourselves is something that you'll do after your transition.
Hmm.
And meaning if it's a new job, if it's your business launch, if it's the kids, if it's settling down into whatever your situation is. But life rarely settles down, right? There's never a
Hmm.
moment when you can settle down and turn off. So
Hmm.
if you wait for perfect conditions to prioritize yourself, you'll be waiting forever. Let's just be clear in that. So prioritizing yourself, it doesn't always mean that you're taking a 2 week vacation because sometimes I've been guilty of it myself. I'm like, I just need a vacation. I just need to get away. I just need to
Yeah.
escape, right? If
Yeah.
I escape, I'll be fine. I can come back refreshed. But then as soon as you get back, it's back to the chaos and confusion because the chaos and confusion didn't stop just because you decided to go away for a moment. It didn't stop. And also, again, let's be honest, who created that chaos and confusion, or should I say, who allowed
Girl.
it, who doesn't have boundaries, who doesn't know how to put the smack hand down when it comes to self, right? And when we talk about boundaries, boundaries are for self so that you can make sure you train others on how to exist in your world. Okay, but I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. I'm just saying,
Just had to
right?
go there, huh? Keep going.
But with prioritizing yourself, sometimes it's going to look like asking yourself a simple question. What do I need right now? What do I need? Not just what the kids need, what my husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my friends, my mama, my grandma.
The neighbor.
That, oh, don't make me cut up. But what do I need? What do I need right now? Sit right
Yeah.
it for all of you ladies on this call. What do you need right now? Sit with
Mm.
that because we're so quick to answer, right? We are, as high achieving women, we are solution based. We
Yeah.
can figure it out. We are going to figure it out, right? Okay, here's the problem. I got the answer. I don't want you to have an answer right now. Because if you have an answer right now, you didn't think this all the way through.
Mm.
You don't know what you really need, if we're being honest. Not
Mm.
in this moment, you don't. Don't let me turn into a mama right now.
It's
But,
already happening.
oh, so sorry, not. But I want you to think about that. And when I say that, what do I need right now? What do I need? And it's not just rest, but maybe you do need rest.
Hmm.
Maybe you need support. A lot of us have a problem with accepting help. I know I have a problem with it, but maybe you need support, Christina, right? Maybe you need a boundary or two or 12 or 25, depending
Yeah.
upon what your life looks like. And maybe you just need to stop saying yes to things out of guilt because guess what? Because we're solution based, we're problem solvers. We say yes to a lot of things we should be saying no to. And I want you to ask yourself why you do that.
Mm.
So I could tell you, but I want you to answer that for yourself. So I always tell women that self prioritization, it isn't selfish like we talked about. It is selfless, but it's also sustainable. You cannot build a life that you love while constantly abandoning yourself.
Hold on.
I'll pause.
Even if it looks like it on the surface, it's not truly a life you love.
Mm-mm.
Even if it looks like it on the surface, the beautiful home, the this, the
Oh, yeah.
that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've built it. I've created
Um,
this life, whether I
yeah.
realize it or not. And everybody gives me compliments about, oh my gosh, on the outside, even when you go to work, if you go into the office, even when you walk outside your door, you may look well put together,
Mm,
but you probably don't love what you feel inside or what your life is like, if we're being honest,
jeez.
because you have abandoned yourself in the process of building this life. You've forgotten about yourself in the process of building this life because it's become an external view for you. How can I make sure everybody else is happy and enjoys the things, the fruits of my labor, instead of me enjoying the fruits of my labor? And I know, Kristina, we had this conversation, y'all. We had this conversation on one of what I have, which is called the prioritized poor. And we talked about finances.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, Kristina, do you want to share that we discussed was, do I do for myself or do I do for my kid? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll share that story because
Go
it
ahead.
was profound. So if you all don't know, Jasmine, I don't know if you have the link pulled up that you can drop in the chat while I tell the story, but Jasmine hosts the Prioritize Poor. So when I started talking about pivoting, like of course having her in the conversation made complete sense. But there was one of our small group chats, and we're talking about budgeting. And it made me think of how back in my like early single mother days, my mom would say, Chris, here's $100, don't spend it on the kids. Buy something for yourself. Every now and then
Mhm.
she'd say that, treat yourself. And my dad was mainly the one who did it, but let's say it was her. It's fine. Um, and I struggled to do anything for myself. And I think I'm like that. I'm getting better. Um, but there was a young lady on the call who started talking about, well, why aren't you in your budget? Like, why aren't you a line item in your budget? And I'm like, because it's not how it's like. And I was stuck. And if I'm
Mhm.
being honest, that conversation, Jasmine, was weeks ago. I'm
Mhm.
still I'm still stuck. I'm working on it, but I'm still stuck when it comes to um I'm still stuck when it comes to that. Let's just say that. I'm still stuck. It's a so it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It does not. Yeah.
And I think that that's important that you said that because sometimes because we're able to fix everybody else's issues like that, when it comes to ourselves and being aware that we've been forsaking ourselves and we're ready for this pivot in our life and to really start putting ourselves first, we kind of think that we can do it as quickly as we saw for others for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't. It takes time because there's layers to it. And you're going to be peeling back so many layers, and it's going to make you want to go back to what you're comfortable with because you're going to become heavily uncomfortable in the process because you've never done it. And a lot of people shy away from it because they don't do it. It's not a part of their regular life to prioritize themselves, to put themselves first, right? If you have the option of getting your hair done and making sure your child get a car, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna get my child the car. Absolutely not. You're gonna get your hair done, get your nails done, and you're gonna get your new outfit and go outside. you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's you have to deconstruct. This is a term I always say. You have to deconstruct to reconstruct. You have to deconstruct so much because we're bag ladies. Christina has heard me say this many a times, ladies. We are bag ladies, whether we want to admit it or not. Erica Badu hit the hammer on the nail with that one. Listen to the song if you've never heard it. But we are bag ladies. But when we start prioritizing ourselves, we'll take a bag off and we'll think, oh, I'm doing so good.
Yeah.
And then you realize you got 1,000 more bags on you that when the next one comes to the fold and you're just like, you feel like you're stepping back, you're falling back, right? But you're not. You're just like, okay, I've dealt with this thing. Now I need to deal with this thing. So when you say, I'm still working on it, I want you to continue to work on it. When you become aware, don't shy away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Lean into it even more, but also seek support in it because you're not going to be able to do it alone. And a lot of us have been conditioned to do things on our own. I don't need no help, which is why I said earlier, we don't accept support. So if there's one thing that you can take even from this conversation and prioritizing yourself is to allow yourself, give yourself permission to receive help and support in your process of prioritizing yourself, working and navigating through it.
Michaela said, "Oh yes, deconstruct to reconstruct is it.
Construct to reconstruct.
That is it."
It's hard though. I'm not gonna lie
Yes.
to you. Even as a coach, I have bags, y'all. I say it from experience. I will never speak from inexperience. And I think that's why I'm so casual in how I talk, even to my clients. I talk to you from experience. I still have bags.
Mm-hmm.
I may have taken off a few of them, but another one just keep coming. And I'm just like, okay, okay. But it's a continuous process. We're always going to be working on ourselves and we should be. And prioritizing yourself is not going to be easy because that guilt, that thing called guilt, is going to rear its head and it's going to tell you wrong. You're going to have people who've been accustomed to you doing and having and making sure that they're first because you've lacked boundaries for yourself that are going
Mm-hmm.
to tell you that you're wrong, that are going to make you feel guilty that you didn't do for them because you've always have. Why are you stopping now? What's wrong with you? Why are you changing? You think you better. You're going to have so many things come at you that that guilt is going to eat at you,
Yes.
but it's not true and it's not factual. It's just you protecting yourself. I'm going to stop because I can keep going. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say that. Give yourself permission to prioritize yourself.
You touched on so much.
Hmm.
Um, Again, thinking about my own pivots, thinking about conversations with my clients around pivoting. You just touched on so much. Part of it is support.
Hmm.
Um, we've talked about this, and you're like, Kristina, hire the VA. And I'm like, right? We've talked about that.
Resistant to change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'm human. We've talked about boundaries, no being a complete sentence, as
Hmm.
uncomfortable as it might feel to put a period at the end of it. It is truly a complete sentence and doesn't require an explanation, right? So those boundaries, not just setting the boundaries, but also enforcing the boundaries. And in order to do that, you've got to be comfortable with no. you've
Hmm.
got to be you've got to be on board with your own boundaries in order to enforce them. Like, because the wavering doesn't work. People will
Yeah.
smell that a mile away and be like, oh, she's not serious. She's not serious. She'll be back to support me. She'll be back to do this. Like, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's a toxic relationship. And
yeah.
not just with men, for
Not just,
women, but with friendships. I'm not talking on the romantic sense, but
yeah,
when you think about it,
yeah.
I've heard someone say on social, it's like, and this is related more so to a relationship, but apply it to yourself. They said, imagine this man going back and telling his friend, I could do whatever I want to her and she's still gonna take me back. I can say and do whatever and she's still gonna be like, okay, she just don't. She don't have it. She weak.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that, I said, you got me effed up, right? But who you talking to, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Naturally, that was my response.
right, right.
But when you think your face, but when you think about that, right? Think about that with the people that are around you that are taking advantage of you. And then think about it when it comes to yourself. Am I that person? No. So why am I behaving like I am?
Yeah.
Again, accountability, awareness is important. You start looking at yourself and looking at the fact that you're the problem in the situation. Nobody else. We love to blame other people. It's nobody else. But when you start thinking of how people actually see you in that way, you're going to move
Oof.
a little bit different. Just saying.
Drink the coffee. Um,
Okay. Look.
toes have been stepped on. Just drink the coffee. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I know it's not just me. I'm looking at this is how we talk. I'm looking at chat. I'm looking at the reactions. So I know it's not just me. Um, if you're watching a replay and you're like, stop, so then it's not just you either, just so you know. Then we've talked about a lot is women having a time problem. And you're like, it's easy to say that women have a time problem. But
Mhm,
as I think about what you just called out, the support, the
mhm,
boundaries, right? Like, dare I say, these are time problems we've created. Dare I say that, like, we've built this life that has created this idea that we don't have enough time in the day. Dare I say that? And I don't like it, doesn't feel good. Just the discomfort that comes along with it. It doesn't feel good. But owning it is the first step. Owning it is the first step. So before we get into this cute, I'm going to pour into myself during this pivot,
mhm.
own it first. Own where you are now first, because pouring into you without acknowledging that you are who got you to where you are, right? Like, oh,
Absolutely.
and it's not easy.
Absolutely.
It's not easy. Um,
And
I'm wrestling.
that's the hardest part because
Yeah.
again, we are well-established women
Hmm.
in our own right. We are well-established when we've gotten ourselves to where we are. And we always see the good in where we've gotten ourselves, right? Look at
Yeah.
my home, look at my car, all the materialistic things. Look at my business, whatever it is, we give ourselves accolades for those things, and you should,
Hmm.
because you've worked darn hard to get to where you are. But also understand the bad and where you've contributed to that, where you played a part in the bad, and
Yeah.
stop blaming others and own it. And that for me was the hardest part because it's like, so I'm the problem? I ain't the problem. I am. No, I'm not. I'm going back and forth like it's everybody else. See, but
Yeah.
no, start looking internally at yourself to say, maybe it is me. When you have that moment, you're going to go through, again, so many emotions with yourself, being mad at yourself. It's like you're going to go through a breakup when you really start prioritizing yourself because that
Mm.
old version of you, it doesn't serve you. And it got you to where you are, right? It got you to where
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
And there's so much good that came with it, but there's so much bad that came with it too. Many bad behaviors, relationships,
Jobs
right?
that just, yeah.
Jobs,
Another story. Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to go through a breakup, and how hard is it to break up with a toxic thing, right? We
Yeah.
often revert back to it because we're comfortable in it.
We
Felt
know it.
good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to this. I know what to expect with this.
Yeah.
And again, I'm talking about self, but I want you to think of yourself in the sense of a relationship, a romantic relationship. And again, we don't have relationships with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So prioritizing yourself is building a new relationship with yourself. But you got to break up with the old you, the toxic you, the one that wants you're fine the way you are. I love you.
Yeah.
We love bomb ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So awareness and accountability is key in the beginning.
Okay. I have a question. I have a lot of them, always. I have a question. So when we think about burnout,
Mhm.
because I said this to someone the other day, um, I feel completely burned out. I said it. This is really like a week or so ago. Like I feel burnout creeping in, like, and it is real.
Mhm.
But then part of me wondered, Is it burnout that I just maybe need a vacation, a nap, a massage, whatever it
Mm.
is? Or is it that the life I created doesn't fit anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like,
That is a very good one.
yeah.
And I think that's one of my favorite questions
Hmm.
because burnout and misalignment can feel very similar on the surface, right?
Yeah.
Both can make you feel exhausted,
Hmm.
both can make you feel disconnected, both can make you question everything, right? But
Yeah.
here's something that I've noticed. Burnout tends to improve partially when you rest, when you're aware and you carve out that time for yourself to actually rest. I won't get into rest because rest is its own topic. It
Hmm.
really is. And it's not just getting into bed, laying down.
So the nap isn't it? That
The
that
nap ain't it.
30-minute
That's
nap.
not
I'm
the
about to take my
no, no,
back
no,
out.
no, 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 no,
That's
no,
not
no,
it.
no, no.
Uh-uh.
Not at all. But that's his own topic. But when we're talking about being misaligned, right? Because rest, I mean, burnout, you can, with rest, burnout can start improving.
Hmm.
But with misalignment, that baby will follow you.
Mm.
That baby will follow you.
Yeah.
And you, like I said earlier, you can take a vacation, right? All I need is a vacation, get the massage. Oh, I feel so great,
Yes.
right? This is what I need. This is what my life needs to look like, right? You
Hmm.
rest on the weekend, those things are nice. They cute.
Hmm.
They're temporary. It doesn't fix the issue. So that's why for a moment when we come back from our vacations, we feel great.
Yeah.
But then again, you didn't all that chaos and confusion didn't go away just because you went away for a little bit and you got a massage.
Hmm.
It's still there, right? So the issue for me is when you come back to life to your regular life that you've created, whether you realize it or not,
Hmm.
all of those feelings will come back naturally, right? Because the issue isn't exhaustion 100%. The issue is that something no longer fits.
Yep.
Something just no longer fits. And one question I'm going to encourage you ladies to ask yourselves is this: if I were fully rested, would I still want this? And again, rest has its own topic,
Mm.
but whatever rest looks like for you in your own definition, if you were fully rested and you look at your life the way it is right now, or certain areas of it, would you still want it?
That's hard.
Sit
That's
with it.
hard. That's hard. And I know it's not
Mhm.
just me, but there have been moments in my life where I can honestly say the nap didn't fix it, the vacation didn't fix it, the monthly massages didn't fix it,
Mm-mm.
right? The additional degree and certification didn't fix it.
Mhm. Right.
It just no longer aligned. I don't care
Mhm.
how good I appeared to be at it. Yeah.
Mhm. Everything it has an expiration date. I myself even now, because I'm able to pay attention to these things, right? And those
Hmm.
questions, right? I be like, I don't like this no more. It because your body will give you signs going back to that. Everybody's different. My body started giving me signs. This isn't it for me. Shoulders up here.
Oh,
I don't even notice that I'm sitting here typing like this. I don't know that I'm walking
listen.
around like this, right? I don't know that I'm snapping at everybody. I'm having pains in my arm. Why does my
Mm.
arm hurt? Why does my back, my neck and my back, Christina, you know I have a sense of humor. But why does my back hurt? And it's not just age. We could blame it on age, but it's not just that. Our body is telling
Yeah.
us this situation, whatever it is, it doesn't work for us anymore. We no longer want this for ourselves anymore. Pay attention to your body because it's going to speak to you and tell you, right?
Mm.
So when I ask if I'm fully rested, when you're fully rested, let's talk about a job. You get
Talk
this
about it.
shiny new thing, this
Yeah.
new job. Your old job was just toxic. Oh, this place was trash.
Mm-hmm.
These people were garbage. The leadership can go to hell,
Sounds
right?
it sounds like it's getting personal. Just saying, not saying,
No, I'm
maybe.
just saying, because that's what a lot of people, I've heard conversations and I've had them at
Yeah,
home. But these are things that are said, right?
you're right.
Behind closed doors, but we need to bring them to the surface.
Yes.
These things are said. And
Yeah.
then you're once you get to that point, we always wait to where we're just broken. We shouldn't. But you get to that point, you look for a new job. You get your new job. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I got my new job. You get into the new job and you feel great. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your jaws aren't tight anymore. You're smiling. Hey, everybody. And after what, 3, 4 months,
Mm, give or take.
give or take, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even a year, after a year, you're back to this. You're uncomfortable. I hate this
Yeah.
place. So but when you're fully rested, right, that's when the new job comes into place because you're no longer tense, you're enjoying yourself. But when you're no longer fully rested in that job, do I still want this job?
Mm,
No. Do
yeah.
I still want this life, right? Do I
Yeah.
still want to walk around catering to everybody else and being exhausted and burnt out, resentful, angry, depleted, pouring from an empty? Would I still want this for myself? I'm going back to that question I want you guys to sit with,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you'll be surprised with the answer that you come up with, even in this moment, and your instant answer that you came up with. But I want you to sit with it. Because what many women discover is that they don't just need rest, they just need permission to acknowledge they've changed. And that's where the pivot often begins. And when you know, think about the term when people say they make more money, more problems. But you think of the term when people say they make more money and they've evolved in their life,
Mm-hmm.
everybody can't go with you. Well, this old version of you that got you to this place that is good. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
old me, for getting me
Mm-hmm.
to this point. But you no longer serve me in where I need to go next. I need to evolve. And to evolve, I have to shed the old to make room for the new.
Girl, if you don't stop.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you don't stop.
I'll stop. I'll drink my coffee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because and I'm gonna say this to you in Saturday church, right? Michaela said soul tired is so different from physically tired. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Say
Oh,
that. What, wait, the kids
I
say
don't know which
that.
finger, like different
It's
fingers.
the middle one I heard. Yeah, we'll talk about why later.
Okay. Rico being old ladies again. Um, so I touched on this during episode 1 with Raina and like this, and I'm swallowing because it's like a lump. And I know I'm not alone. This discomfort that sometimes comes with this. So today you talked about breaking up with the old version of yourself, and I know it's not just me, but uh, breakups can be hard, hard.
Mhm.
Listen, one or more of my exes are probably watching this now. Breakups can be can be hard.
Mhm.
So you're talking about breaking up with a version of yourself, and as they say, my God, on today. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel it in my chest. I feel it. So how do we do this and maintain our sanity? How do we break up with the old version of ourselves? How do we shed the old us in the midst of this pivot
Mhm.
without losing our minds? I'm gonna say it like that because I don't.
Mhm.
This is not a space where we have to sugarcoat it. Um, without losing our minds because it's hard. Like I
Mhm.
physically, like I'm thinking about breaking up with myself, the old version, and it's like,
That anxiety kicks in.
man,
What do you mean?
what do you? Are there enough gummies in the room? I'm not saying different strokes for different folks, but like, how do you do it? Wine? Is it the wine? Is it the solo dates? Jasmine, you often talk about solo dates and
Oh
like,
yeah,
how do you do it and preserve your sanity?
yeah.
Or do you just cry it out?
Ooh. Ooh. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
But one thing that I was sharing my experience and what I work with women to do is to map out what it will look like for them because everybody's different. But
yeah.
I'll share this with you. When I started my process of prioritizing myself, I went through my pivot. It is a pivot. It
Mm-hmm.
is a pivot. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care how you slice it. It's still a form of pivot. It's evolution at its finest because we're always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
I started because I was that girl, just like a lot of us, who built this life and it looked really good, but I was not happy in it. And it's not to say I wasn't happy with my man, my husband, or my kid. It's not to say I wasn't happy with them and the life
Yeah.
that we had. I just wasn't happy with the life that I've created within myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing solo dates, more so solo trips. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt guilty about it. But when I started, that anxiety that you like, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Because I didn't know how to be by myself.
Right.
I didn't know how to, because I didn't know who I was. I forsook myself for so long. I'm like, who, what am I supposed to do? Because I'm not catering to this kid. I'm not catering to this man. I'm not catering to anybody else or this job. Literally sitting here by myself. Like, what am I supposed to do? Who am I? What do I like? I'm about to go back home. Like you go through all
Mm.
these things.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I've shared in my journey and on my page with everyone else is this. Doing the solo trips for me helped me to sit with myself and rediscover myself. I wrote, I had a notebook, so I would write, I would pray, I would cry. I would go on little activities to see, do I like this? Oh, this is nice. I was scared, but I did it scared. I was like, ooh, this feels really odd and strange for me to now want to do things for myself.
Yeah.
But I did them because it helped to build the new character within me. The old person had to go. Bye, girl.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. Peace out.
Mm-hmm.
The new person had to evolve. I had to birth a new me. And to do that, I had to cater to me. Think of it like a child. You give
Mm-hmm.
birth, what do? You nurture it. But as a new parent, remember y'all first times being a new mommy. If for those who are mommies, oh God, you like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I might have dropped the kid. The baby done fell off the bed. Oh Jesus, I'm going to jail. I can't
Right?
take a shower unless I bring the baby in the bathroom with me. I can't sleep because are you breathing?
Right.
Right? But
Yeah.
you nurtured and you made mistakes along the way. And sometimes you kind of reverted back to bad behaviors where I just need to run away, whatever it is. But you nurtured it until it became this beautiful being. And
Mm.
I want you to think of yourself in that. So those solo trips that I took them once a year at first, and then I got comfortable. I started liking it, y'all. And I felt kind of guilty for liking it. I said, F these kids. And I would leave. Now, granted, I did feel guilty with leaving every time, but I had mommy's guilt. Every time I would get ready to go, I feel bad. But once I got on that plane, peace. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things where the more I did it, the more I enjoyed and loved who I was becoming.
Mm-hmm.
So I nurtured me. And then when I came home, I would do solo days. Why? Because I don't need y'all to come with me. I need to sit with myself
Yeah.
because this is my transition into who I'm evolving into. And it's been beautiful. It was hard though. So I want you to know that. And I also want you to have someone who, one, can hold you accountable, but support you in it because we often feel like, I'm good, I can handle this by myself. But in those moments where I was boohoo crying, I wish I had somebody there, but I needed to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to go. But when I came out of it, I still needed some support.
Yeah.
But so I allow myself now to be a little bit vulnerable with a specific person because you can't have everybody. Don't do that.
Don't.
But with a specific person where I was able to be vulnerable and say, wow, I went through this, I discovered this about myself. And that person would pour into me and say, I'm proud of you.
Mm.
And sometimes that's all we need to hear too.
Yeah.
So I said that hopefully to help encourage you ladies out there who are like, I'm going through a shift. I feel like uncomfortable. This no longer fits for me. Do things that work for you, but we have to figure out what that is and what that looks like. And then we have to lean in and we have to nurture it.
You've shared so much. So I write stuff down when we talk sometimes, you know that. You've shared so much as we're thinking about the women on the call now, as we're thinking about the women who are watching this replay. Um, Jasmine, what's one thing, right? For the woman who has the lump in her throat, the tightness in her chest as she thinks about pouring into herself, um, what where do we start? What is step number one that doesn't feel so aggressive so that when we check that box, then okay, now we can do step two. That like how do we start?
So, one of the things that I have, my pillars, I have three pillars, and I'll
Yeah,
give you the first one, which is regulate. Let's start with that.
yeah.
Because honestly, a lot of us think that we need more discipline
Hmm.
during a pivot. I'm going to tie it back to the pivot. A lot of us think we need more discipline during the pivot, but actually, what we need is regulation. We have a heavily dysregulated nervous system, which is driving us to do all these crazy things.
Yeah.
Okay. I already said one was awareness, but we actually need to work on regulating ourselves so that whenever life starts changing, you feel safe in that change,
Hmm.
right? Even when it's a good change, even when it's something you've prayed for, you don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You can sleep, you know what I mean? So we have to work on regulating ourselves so that we can embrace the change that we're going through and lean into it. But I want to ask you to one, be honest with yourself, become more aware. The awareness part is the very first thing, and it's going to kick you in the butt.
Mm.
But become more aware and work on regulating your nervous system. For those who are interested, I do have a 7-day nervous system reset and life audit. It's free on my site that you can do. Is going to walk you through 7 days, going to give you questions that you can answer so you can see where you're fragmenting and where you need to kind of bring it back into self. But it's going to give you that awareness that you need so that you can start that process of regulating your nervous system so you can enjoy and embrace that pivot.
I don't know about y'all, but I got so much out of today. Um, Not just the laughs. Yeah, like I'm seeing the reactions, not just the laughs, right? Because we kiki and all the amazing stuff, but like I felt seen, right? Seen and supported and understood and not alone and not crazy and empowered. Right, although whatever. And empowered. Right. I've felt all the things. So as I have thanked you privately many times, I'm going to thank you publicly for showing up fully with the wisecracks and all that other stuff, like some kind of
You
comedian.
know me, girl.
It's fine. I want to thank you publicly for saying yes. Thank you publicly for bringing so much to our community that's much needed right now in this season. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle says amazing session. Um, this was this was great. This was great. Okay, so you talked about having the nervous system reset. I dropped, I think earlier, the link for the prioritized pour. You want to shout that
Yeah.
out? Thank you. You want to shout that out as
Oh,
well, Jasmine?
yes, yes. So I do something called the prioritized pour. It really is a play on pouring into yourself. I often say that we need to prioritize ourselves, 30 minutes minimum, but we sit on there for an hour and we talk real conversation, the things that we go through as high achieving women and moms, the struggles. We have our kiki, we pour a little drinky drink, whether it's a mocktail or a cocktail, but it is a safe space for us to come and have these, even these types of conversations, and be vulnerable. So if you are open to joining the Prioritize Pour, I think I put the link in the chat. You can sign up. It is a private Zoom room. You don't have to worry about people bouncing in and out of it. It's really a space for us to have these types of conversations and walk through what it looks like to prioritize ourselves, even during a pivot.
Yes.
So thank you for that, Christina. And I want to thank you for again for having me on here. Thank you, ladies, for showing up and prioritizing yourself. Some of this is may have, the shoe probably fit a few of y'all in
Huh.
this moment, but it's only because I've been through it. We all have the same story. If it's not the exact same story, we have similar stories,
Yeah.
which is why I'm able to speak from this space. And I want to encourage you to continue to show up for yourself, not just for everybody else. Show up for yourself. So thank you again, Christina. I appreciate you, and it will always be a yes.
Oh, she getting all sappy in the public. Y'all better just stop. Um, all right, ladies, have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back here for the next episode in June, which I'm also excited about. We're talking money. So thank you again. All the hearts. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a great one.
Thank you.